everybody here for Inside Look. I see some familiar faces around. Well, you guys are in for a treat. We are going to be doing a training session with our pilot whales. So I see a lot of you guys are regulars to coming to SeaWorld, so I'm sure you know Ava and Piper's story, especially if you guys stuck around for that last presentation. Here these pretty ladies are. Well, so these two girls are rescued animals, and it just is always so special for us to be able to share their story with everybody. We have a lot of rescued animals in our park, and pilot whales are just such an incredible species. I'll talk a little bit more about it in a minute, but we actually have been able to do a couple studies to learn more about pilot whales with Ava and Piper here. Now what we have planned is I believe that we are going to be doing a pork training session with Ava. All right, let me point Ava back over to Vanessa here. So Ava is hanging out with Vanessa. Piper is right here in front of me. Now as far as personality with these two, Ava does tend to be one of those animals that's a little bit more high energy. She really has a lot of energy to expend all of the time. She almost kind of, we joke, has more of a dolphin personality. All right, and then I'm going to have Piper head over to Kendra here. Oops. So, I'm going to talk you guys through our training sessions. I know I see a lot of people that come to our park often, but for those of you who don't, we have a couple different training tools that we use to help us shape behavior. One of those tools is a target pole that you're going to be seeing us use. And a target pole is kind of like a giant Q-tip looking thing. It's like a bead at the end of a pole. And Jackie's carrying one down right here. Shayna is demonstrating for us on stage. So we essentially use the target pole as an extension of our hands. So one of the first things that we train our animals to do is to actually touch the tip of their rostrum to our hand. Now, what happens when you need to train something out really far away? We use a target pole because our arms can't reach out as far as we'd like them to sometimes. But Jackie is going to be working with Ava, and she's going to use this target pole to shape the behavior that she is looking for. So then our next tool that we use is our bridges. Now we use these bridges, these whistles around our necks, because these animals hear at a higher frequency than what we are able to speak. We kind of sound like Charlie Brown's teacher a little bit. Some of you know that reference, like to them. This is a high enough frequency, and essentially what this is communicating is, yes, that's exactly what I was looking for. So you saw that Jackie used that target pole to tap exactly where she wanted Ava to come up and do a little pork, and she did it correctly. So you heard Jackie then blow on her whistle, and actually that was followed up by an underwater tone. Now that's a really cool thing that we have here. It's pretty fancy. We have a tone system underwater that essentially can back up this sound and say, yes, that was exactly correct, because as their heads enter the water, it can be a little hard for them to hear our whistles sometimes. So I think what we're going to do now is she's going to send that corp again, and Jackie has moved positions. Let's see, you saw Jackie look underwater to make sure she was coming to the right spot, and great job, she did it! Yay! Good job, Ava! So this is really so fun for us to get to share with all of you guys, because so much of our training doesn't get to happen while everybody is sitting out and being able to watch, and Ava did such a fabulous job. Alright, so now we are going to switch out these wonderful pilot whales for a big group of our dolphins. And we actually have something really fun planned, by popular demand actually. If you guys were here for our Inside Look presentation earlier, we did do this earlier and it was just such a big hit. Everybody loves it. We're going to actually throw in these physio balls, these big exercise balls that you can see sitting back here on the stage. Now, I do need to say a little safety thing about these physio balls. The dolphins love to toss these around, and those of you that are sitting a little lower, you're going to need to look alive, all right? They will toss them up out of the pool, and that's okay if they do. We can just toss it right back into them, and they have a really fun time playing. It also gets really slippery down here as our dolphins are flying these giant exercise balls around. And sometimes that could lead to a little bit of splashing excitement. So anybody who is still sitting in the soak zone, that doesn't mean that you're not safe. They can splash at any moment. We're looking for them to just play and have fun on their own. So you can see our Pod of Dolphins is actually making their way out here right now. So let's see. Right now we are joined by Sky, who is one of our youngsters. She's about 5 years old. She's actually born right here. And we also have Sophie, Malibu, Bullet, Melanie, Captain, Zana, and Carly. So they have just been having so much fun in these play sessions lately. So I'm actually going to have a team of us are going to come out in front of the glass, just because we're going to help dodge and throw these physio balls back into the pool. And you guys are going to get to enjoy. And while this happens, I'm going to answer a couple questions if anybody has any, so I'll probably be walking around. Alright, so once we are ready, we'll throw those all in. Now, these physio balls, we call them environmental enrichment devices, and that is really a category for anything that is enriching their environment. It's kind of a fancy name for a toy, but we like to think of it as something so much more than that. Something that can enhance their environment. It could be anything. It doesn't just have to be a toy. Alright, so for those of you that are joining us, we're about to throw these big physio balls in, and I just want you guys all to look alive down here. They might come flying around, okay? Alright. Here we go! Let the physio ball fun commence. Alright. Well, I'm going to start walking around. Does anybody have any questions about training, about dolphins? Yeah, you do? Okay, let me get all the way up here. Okay, what's your question? How do dolphins flip themselves out of the water is the question. Now, a lot of these behaviors that we're working on with these animals are ones that you'll see them do in the wild, whether that be for fun or to help them swim really fast, like porpoising. Now, to flip themselves out of the water, it takes a lot of athletic ability, doesn't it? Yeah, so they can actually swim at speeds over 25 miles an hour to help propel them up out of the water to do that flip. Yeah, I don't think I could do that. They're pretty incredible. All right. Yeah, you can come over here. You what?
Are they so much social?
Are they social? Dolphins are an incredibly social species. Yes, so they can constantly be communicating with each other. You might see some of them even joining in on some play together and kind of doing some coordinated play with these toys. So that's always fun to watch. Alright, so it looks like we have some physio balls that are heading out. So again, look alive. Did you guys have any questions over here? Thought I saw a hand somewhere. No? Alright. Now, one of the questions that we get asked here a lot is, how in the world do you build a relationship with an animal that is triple our weight? Now, part of that is actually just doing what we're doing right now. You'll notice that Jackie's down at the glass. Some of the dolphins are really intentionally wanting to engage and play with us, and we take that opportunity to do it with them. It helps us build a really good rapport with them and create that really good positive relationship. Okay, I see we have a question over here. What's your question? Ooh, good question. So the question was, how do we train the dolphins when they're really, really small? And how do we train them to help teach them how to learn? Wow, that was really impressive. That was incredible. I don't think I've seen that yet. So we actually start really simple with training. So the first thing that a lot of them learn is just to target their hand, the tip of their rostrum, which is kind of like where you think their nose would be, onto our hand. And we just start really small. We do really small, what we call approximations. So we don't go too big. It can actually take, 15, 20 years for a dolphin to know every single behavior that we could ever train them. But we're constantly learning. And of course, the little guys, we just start with little tiny stuff. Oh my goodness, that's the $1 million question. She was asking, what is the little dolphin's name that you can see all the way behind our amphitheater? The little baby dolphin? So that is Chance and Cardiff. We actually have 2 little babies back there. I'll give you in a moment. We have 2 little babies back there. They were actually recently rescued. Both of them were, which is very incredible that we rescued 2 common dolphins off of our coast here in San Diego in such a short amount of time. Whoa! I said I need you guys to look alive, but I should have been looking alive. So So if you guys do want a chance to see our new rescued babies, you can throw it in. Yeah, take it and go ahead and toss it. Yeah. You can actually, after this is over, walk all the way around the back of our amphitheater to one of our lookout areas, and they're doing so well. They're so cute. We have them with two of our adult females that are really acting as kind of like a surrogate mom for them and starting to show them the ropes. You had a question. Ooh, how do you become a dolphin trainer and how old do you have to be? So that's a great question. We actually, to work here with the animals, you have to be 18 years old, so that's the first step. But you can always get experience in any way with animals. We always look for animal experience, but it doesn't have to be dolphins. I've known people that have gotten experience with dogs or with horses, worked at animal shelters, or started in dog training. And a lot of people actually do internships, usually unpaid internships, but we do it because we love it, don't we? And then a lot of people here actually have college degrees, and that is something that is not required, but preferred. Yeah. Ooh, what's the best thing to study in college? So I personally have a psychology degree. I know other people have degrees in conservation, zoology, behavior. Psychology is something that I feel like I get to use every day here because it's a lot of operant conditioning, positive reinforcement that I got to learn in college. All right, you guys, it is actually time for us to conclude, but we will be sticking around to answer a couple questions if you guys would like. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to ask the dolphins to come back over to stage, and we're going to ask them to retrieve all of these fun toys for us. So we have trained them to come trade in those toys. And if you guys are leaving, we do have people stationed at the east and the west gate to stamp your guys' inside look passports. We thank you guys all so much for joining us today. We love to have these events. We love to get to talk to all of you guys that I know come to our park all the time and